What's up? Welcome to the WeBUS podcast, you guys. I'm Wes Pyatt, and I'm joined with my guest today, Brian Bean. Brian, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, my friend. This is only our second one we've ever done.
No kidding.
I hope that makes you feel special. You're the second person that I thought of. The first person we got on here
Sweet.
was Trenton, Mr. Effing Nice Guy. Then I
Exactly.
got you, and then I got a few actually more of the other WeBUS boys lined up for the rest of this week. So
Yeah, I
I'm
heard Chevy
excited
J
to
is
get
going to
this
be
thing
around too.
rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, really fast. Introduce yourself a little bit, kind of where you're from and what brought you to the group.
My name is Brian Bean. I'm originally from South Carolina. I'm 49 years old, prior Air Force vet, 5 children, an ex-wife and soon to be ex-wife. I am a travel and medical lab technician working as a microbiologist right now in Indianapolis, which is why my call sign is Nomad because I just move around a bunch. And that's it. That's the gist of me. Pretty simple guy.
Pretty simple guy. You're a microbiologist. That's not simple at all. You were in the Air Force. You're going through a divorce right now. You move around. You call yourself Nomad. You sound like a dude I want to hang out with, honestly.
Well, come on, man. Let's do it. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
man. Heck yeah. Yeah, tell us what brought you to WeBUS.
Well, as I said, I'm going through a divorce, and I've been friends with Chris Ronis, aka Switch, for over 30 years now. We met in Air Force basic training, and he is affiliated with this group. And we talk all the time. I told him about the things I was going through, and he said, "Man, I've got this group that I'm in. These guys go through a lot of the same things that you're going through. They've been through it. They're on the other side of it." And he's like, I really think you could benefit from this. So it went on for about a month. We talked about it. I was apprehensive, to go
Oh, wow.
do this in front of a bunch of guys I didn't know anything about. But I got to the point where, something had to give. I had to find something because I was about to pop. And I guess I was talking to Switch about it. And he's like, "Come on, just check it out." He goes, "You don't have to say anything. Just get in the group, see what, people are saying, how they interact, how they are." I said, "Sure." So it got me in there, and the rest is history.
Uh, when you came into the group, it's very intimidating. At least it was for me. I made this group, and it was hard to stare at a phone and look at myself and, hey guys, hi. But I actually found that by looking at the phone and kind of having a conversation with myself, it was very cathartic, and it was almost
Yes,
like journaling in a way,
sure.
at the end of my speech I would give to the guys, but was really for myself. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what I need to do. Here we go, moving down the path. How hard was it for you to get over the staring at yourself on the phone thing?
Given the place that I was at the time, it wasn't
Mm,
very hard. Like, once I started doing it, I realized how therapeutic it was for me to talk it out to get it out. Kind of thing. And the greatest thing about it, and you and I have talked about this before, and everybody else has said this too, is that once you get on there and you show your vulnerability, the love that's shown to you by guys that don't even know you,
yeah.
that you're so raw and just struggling. They're like, "Dude, I've been there." And the great thing about this that you started off with is you're not allowed to give advice. Because to me, like when you give advice, it's like somebody's telling you what to do.
Mm.
So instead of not giving advice, we share our experiences, and a lot of guys share their experiences with me on and offline. We call, you and I talked on the phone. This is the first time we've actually interacted with each other this way.
Yeah, totally. It's always been
Not,
over phone calls, text messages, or
yep,
Marco Polo. Yeah.
absolutely. So it was uh, it was great. Like these guys acted like they knew me from day one, and just the fact that they shared their hardships with me, they were able to navigate those. Them being on the other side of it was encouraging.
You said they acted like, I'm writing this down, acted like they knew you. I think that comes from that rule we have of sharing experience, right?
Yeah,
advice, and the difference between the two for us, our definitions are like one you've been through and one you haven't. And the experiences that we've been through are what allow us to gain more wisdom as a group, right? And
Sure.
to shed light from those experiences. And I think that the acting like they knew is like because they did. They
Yeah.
really truly understood. They've been through it before. And I think a lot of times as a friend, it's hard for us because you have somebody that comes to you with this issue and you think your job is to give them advice to help them out and get them through this thing. But I've found in my life through the struggles I've been through that, man, that didn't help at all. And
Yeah.
what helped me the most was somebody on Instagram or somebody on the news would be going through something similar and I'd be like, "Oh, I wasn't alone. Oh, I'm not the only one that feels this way about this stuff."
Yeah.
So you mean that when I'm going through this whatever, divorce, change of job, death in the family, whatever, move, that this anger, this sadness, this anxiety, this whatever is normal? And people are like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude. Oh my God, it's so normal. It's so normal. Now, here's what I did to get through it. And then you have somebody else that comes on. They're like, yeah. And you know what? I didn't do what, Brian did. I actually did something completely different and it worked
Right.
just as well. Now we can kind of curate these little things that we want to do for ourselves. And then we have people championing
Absolutely.
just to be like, what happened? Not like, hey, did you take our advice? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's such a huge. Was there a moment in WeBUS you can remember where something like that happened between somebody or yourself?
It was in the beginning uh, with 75 Hard Jonathan
Let's go.
reached out to me. He's like, dude, he sent me a message on the side and he's like, whatever you're going through, man, I'm here for it. Like,
Mm,
good, bad, different. You're not alone. I want you to everything through alone. He said, this is what happened to me. This is what I went through. And it, he was one of the first handful of guys that reached out to me when I first came in the group. And he was solid from day one. And, that's just the kind of guy that he is.
yeah.
Anyway,
He's
so
missing
he's
consistency for sure.
absolutely, so he's another one with a great story. But that was
He's coming up. I got him in 2 weeks actually, already scheduled.
excellent. That one's
Yeah.
going to be awesome. So that was in the beginning, that was it. And then along and along, things have come around, things have happened. Like, because I move around right now, I'm in the central group and I got an opportunity to meet those guys. Um, about a month or so back, September 20th, I think it was. So I'm 4 hours south of Milwaukee, and I drove up there and got to meet, you know, five of the six
Wow.
guys
And
up there. It was awesome. Just
you guys
a
went to a Brewers
brotherhood.
game, right?
Yeah, we went to a Brewers game. They got free
Heck yeah.
tickets to a Brewers game. We went there, hung out and chilled, got a picture in the mitt. They're like, "We need to get you with a picture in the mitt." I'm like, "I'm going to look like a kid sitting in that thing." So I
Awesome.
convinced them all to get in it. So
Yeah.
we all got in there and got the
Heck yeah.
picture with the mitt. So, but
If
yeah,
there
it's
was going to be
just
a group of dudes that would get in a mitt and act like kids, it's going to be WeBUS dads for sure. Like and
absolutely.
I think that's the point too, is like, man, like part of being vulnerable as a dad is doing fun, silly, goofy stuff in front of other
Absolutely.
people, right? And a lot of times our egos and our manlyhood holds us back from that, I'm not gonna
Right.
do that kid thing. And it's like, exactly.
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Like enjoy
But I
it.
mean, that's the thing about this group is you just be you. I mean, that's the thing is there's no expectations of how you're supposed to be. You come in and be how you feel you need to be. And if you need to be vulnerable and a snotty slobbering mess, then okay. And if you're in there for encouragement and to be rock solid, then okay. And then
Right
if you're in
on.
there just to be a huge goofball, then bring it.
Yeah.
So
That was,
that's
we've gone through a lot of versions of like, should we do this? Should we do that? Behind the scenes to make this thing better. And I feel like we're the Kirkland brand of the world in terms of how much money do they lose on those chickens and those hot dogs and all that crap.
oh,
But how much money do they gain on the memberships and the people that just love that place and would support it forever? You know what I mean? And
sure.
I
Yep.
feel like we've gone through a lot of iterations of like maybe we should cut the video shorter. There's a rule that you have to keep them under 5 minutes, or there's a rule that you have to say these things. There's a rule that and it's like every time you think about changing something that really is the foundation of what makes this group so amazing, we went back to no, we're not allowed to. The only rule that we have in this group is you can't share advice. That's it. You can only share experiences because
Yep.
we need to have 10, 15, 20-minute videos every once in a while to get it out, to talk it
Right.
out, to calm
Yep.
down the words in our head, to slow them down, and to just make
Sure.
sense of it. And that's what I was saying. Like, dude, the new AI stuff they've been doing with Marco Polo, where you have like the transcripts you can read on the side. Have you seen
Yeah.
that? And
Yeah.
like
I've used
speed
it.
it up, slow it down, or skip, and
Right.
all stuff. And like all, it's been so nice. And I want to say humbling, but I don't think that's necessarily the word I'm looking for. To be around a group of people like Switch, like Alpal, like Jeremy, this board of directors that we've got behind the scenes that are going, no, like we got to just stay true to who we are instead of like, let's make it better, let's make it better, let's make it better. And eventually it's nothing of what it used to be. So
Right.
I'm really stoked that you noticed that, number one. And like you're kind of like, yeah, man, you come on, you just spit it out, you do your thing. You don't have to be this type of person. You can be a goofball. You can also, let out your emotions, or you can be really serious, or you could be a fly on the wall. The only rule,
Yes.
just only share your experiences if you've been through it. And honestly, it's almost like it's your job in a way, like somebody comes on here and they're struggling with something and it's something you've been through. It's kind of your job in WeBUS to be like, me too. Here's my
Yeah.
story, just so that person knows they're not alone.
Yeah. That's huge.
I didn't think about this, but you might be one of the first WeBus guys we have to be in multiple different regional groups. And for people out there who don't know, the way we have this broken up is we have one big central group called WeBus, and it's just like over 100 dudes in there. We get on there, we share our accountability every day. Did we work out that day? Our gratefulness, what find something, even if it was the worst day ever, we'll find something to be grateful for. And then anything else we want to share, we go on there. And then we have these little regional groups that are broken up into Pacific, Central, uh, Pacific Mountain, Central, and East. And those are smaller groups where there's like 8 to 10 guys in it, less videos. You get to talk a little longer. You get to know the guys a little on deeper level. And you might be one of those dudes that actually ends up in multiple different regional groups, which is kind of cool. Do you have a plan?
Chances are likely.
Do you have not necessarily a plan, but like any, destinations you'd like to go to you haven't been to yet?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at, so what would you do with Hawaii at
That's what,
that
hey, we're
point?
going next month, baby, for our the kids' birthdays. That's what I'm talking
Nice.
about.
So yeah,
Hawaii would be Pacific.
so I'm looking at possibly going to Hawaii.
Oh, you're being the
Um,
Pacific group, bro. Let's go. That's my group. That's what I'm
that's
pumped.
your group, yeah. You and Trenton and all them.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. The industry that I'm in is really fluid and dynamic. What might be available tomorrow might not be available the day after.
Hey, just like
So
the
I
movie.
use so I just wait for like about a month out from the end of my contract to find out, what's available and where I want to go. So there's just no telling right now. I might stay in Central, I might go Eastern, just don't know yet. So I'm here till December. So November is when I'll start looking to see what's coming after the first of the year.
Well, that'd be exciting. A whole new year, a whole new you, a whole new place, maybe, like how
Right.
cool, man. One of the things that I hear you saying that I'm really excited about is like a whole new future. And when you
Yeah.
came into WeBus, it like I mean, you didn't even want to talk about the future
No.
because what was the point of it? It's
Right.
like
Well, that's how
how
I
does that
felt.
yeah, how does that feel now to be where you're at?
Uh, I don't want to say proud, accomplished.
Mm,
I feel like I've accomplished a lot. Um, and from the videos in the beginning, the ones where I'm all red faced and snotty and tears ran down my face and barely understand what I'm saying, to
yeah.
now, it's not the same guy that I was. And WeBus had a lot to do with that, just allowing me to come on and be vulnerable. That's the thing. It's like a place for dudes to come and be vulnerable
Yeah.
and not be judged and be propped up when you need it. And just like you said before, a good group of dudes that just want to help each other and be helped when they need it.
That's it, man. Whether you're a fly on the wall or goofy dude, or you're in there
Absolutely.
red faced and snotty like me and you are every once in a while. I
Yeah.
cry more on there than anybody does, man. I'm a crier. That's what I do. And I'm also a social crier too. So if somebody else is crying, like I'm in, here we go, we're doing it. So yeah, man. There's a really cool TED Talk by Brene Brown where she talks about vulnerability and how she's worked with some of the toughest, most elite units in the world. She's worked with Navy SEALs, Delta Force. She's worked with even, different spectrum, but part of the story, the top CEOs in the world, Silicon Valley, all that kind of stuff. And she said the difference between the two is vulnerability. Every time she steps into a Navy SEAL locker room, she steps into an NFL locker room, she steps into like the baddest dudes in the world, right? The guys that are supposed to be the toughest, most egotistical, most driven, most type A personalities that they're out there. That's where she finds the most vulnerability, or is it within those groups? And she asks them specifically, what is this vulnerability I'm seeing here? Because if I go to Google, if I go to Apple, if I go to these other high, I don't think she mentioned actual names because I'm sure she wouldn't do that. She's smarter
Yeah.
company. She said when she goes opposite, everybody's talking behind each other's back, egotistical, blah, blah, blah. And she found that the reason was that they weren't being forced to put themselves up against the hardest thing they've ever done in their life often enough.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
were forced up against the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, but you had a crew around you to be like, when you're falling back, trust fall, we got you, put you back
Yep.
up. Falling back,
Yep.
trust fall, we got you. And you didn't even know they were there, is kind
No.
of the idea. That's
Right.
what they said in these like Navy SEAL teams. They were like, you need to know that we're there when we're not there. And that takes, you better be vulnerable with us if you want us to be vulnerable with you so that we in turn can be there for each other. Because if
Exactly.
I'm not telling you exactly how I feel, I'm not being honest.
Exactly.
And if I'm not being honest, how can I make any strides forward in the direction I want to go? So thank
You're
you,
absolutely
Brian
right.
Bean. Thank you, Nomad, for being so honest, for being so open and being so vulnerable, man. Because the second you came onto this group, like I'm gonna cry already. Second you came onto this group, man, it was just you were the firecracker that we needed at that moment. There'd been a little bit of a lull and kind of like everybody's like, yeah, things are going good. All right, see you later. Things are going good. And then Brian comes in, he's like, I'm struggling. Everybody's like, yes, we got a mission. Let's do this. And then it was almost like a waterfall effect after you joined, man. We had these guys come in with these issues that were just like, here we go again. It's like a quick reaction team of dads that when they see one of their dudes struggling, they can't wait to use their training and they can't wait to use their, here's a cool thing, really crappy experiences that they've been through for good now to help somebody.
Absolutely.
And that's the cool
Absolutely.
thing about your future, I think, Brian, is going forward, like everything you're going through that like feels hard, you get to go, hey, I can't wait to use this as an experience for WeBUS. I can't wait to help somebody else with this. So thank you.
Absolutely. No, thank you, man.
Imagine you got 10 seconds in an elevator going from floor 1 to floor 10 and you need to get a guy in the WeBUS group because you can tell he's struggling. What do you say to him?
I'm in this group of great guys that are supportive 100% of the time. There when I need them, there when I don't. I'd like to introduce you to them.
Oh my God, can we put it on a shirt? That was perfect, dude. Thank you, Brian Bean. You're amazing, man. I appreciate you
Woo!
so much. And I think people are going to like this one because you are one of the most real dudes I've ever met in my life.
Well, man, thanks.
And I really appreciate your bravery.
Thank you.
It did a lot for me, just so you know.
You've done a lot for me too, bud.
Cool. Of course, man. I feel like it's like I'm going to go one episode without crying, I think. Probably not.
It's
All right,
all
guys.
good, man.
If you're out there and you're watching this and you're like, yeah, that's what I need in my life, go to WeBusINT.com, hit join WeBus today, and we'll see you soon. Brian, thank you again. Don't log off. We got to get this thing to upload first. All
Gotcha,
right.
man. You're welcome. It's okay. It's okay. You know it's okay. But it is. It really is. When you, especially you being the founder, and you show that kind of vulnerability, then that kind of gives it okay for everybody else to do the same. Well, you're rocking it. Well, I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about this before. Society frowns upon us doing that because we're supposed to be rock solid all the time. And you can't be. We can't be. I don't mind laundry, pretty much laundry. And I called about my speeding ticket today. I'm waiting on a call back from the attorney. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. You have to move over a lane, right? Yeah, He did a flyby. That's why he pulled you over. Yeah, kind of like buzzing the tower, like in Top Gun. Yeah, right. Yeah. I've met my quota. I'm in a motel, dude. I have no idea. No. All I see is the recording time. No, thanks, man. Later. Yep. I have the app, but I just hit the link that you gave me. Yeah. Yeah. I don't see that at all. I just see your image, my image, a leave button, the recording time, West Pilot 2013, and then icons on the side, the camera, microphone, text box. But I don't see anything. If I hit the three dots, it gives me green speaker, slide, two people, mute speaker, type support. Not sure. Yeah. Hold on this. Hold on just a second. Disconnect and reconnect to the Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help. So I'm on Wi-Fi now. Exactly. Sure you can. Absolutely. Cool, man. No problem. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, it's a treat, dude. Thank you. Yeah, it does. And I haven't seen him in person in 30 years. So, yeah. Thank you. Bye.